Yeah, absolutely. And that might be one of the reasons that, they opt for those other characters, because Lucina, I mean, it feels like the game plan for Lucina is very straightforward, right? If they're above me, I'm going to go for those up airs and up tilts. If they're behind me, I'm going to back air. If they're in front of me, I'm just going to wall them out with forward air. So, and then you also have a character like Palutena, but oh, well, maybe not. Another Ditto coming in here, and it's the Lucina Ditto.
Interesting. I have to assume... Oh. Well, it may be just a little bit longer before we get to see that, as we just gonna try and figure this out very quickly, as... as I also figure out my own technical difficulties. My apologies, folks. Give me one moment. But either way, Soy, how do you feel about the Lucina Ditto?
Well, I mean, it's like I said, I feel like the game plan for Lucina as a character is pretty straightforward, but strangely enough, I think one of the things that I'm kind of looking for is who can land some grabs in this, because sorties typically, right, they don't typically have combos out of grabs, but it's a mix-up, right? And that's what really one of the keys is to the two Dittos, because you know what options your character has. You play them. So if you can throw a mind game in there, something like a Tomahawk, right? If you can throw something in there to make your opponent think a little bit more, that's what I'm looking for here.
As both these players immediately start out swimming away, Blobman, very optimistic forward smash right off the gate, but Starukami is going to weather the storm. Not going to quite get the punish on that counter, but either way, just trading back and forth around center stage is how we're going to start out.
And that counter, too, I think is also going to play a huge part of this, because it is a call-out. It's saying, okay, I know this is what I would go for in this type of scenario. I'm going to time my counter for now or something. Ooh, that was a great catch on the up B, the reverse hitbox of it.
Yes, Blobman is going to get the counter off stage. Starukami going to fall to that. The sword duel starting to lean towards one way.
Yeah, big stock for Blobman to take early here, and that, it's an interesting edge guard. The up B, it does make a lot of sense to use because it covers a lot of options. I'm not sure it would have killed quite there, but it's something to note for later on in the matchup, is that up B was a little ambitious, and it will get punished by the forward smash.
And now you're going to get smacked around a little bit. Starukami now doesn't have to deal with the invincibility anymore, but again, these counters from Blobman, and coming back, okay. Sometimes when you get hit by a counter enough times, it's like, how do you like it?
Oh, he didn't have his jump. I thought Starukami, still had his jump, and he didn't, Blobman still had his jump, and he did not, so Starukami up a stock here, and a lot of work still to be done by Blobman.
Yeah, as just waiting a minute for Starukami to get back on stage. Down a stock. A little optimistic to be going for the taunt there, wouldn't you say? As that is a nice fade back right there, just fully respecting the counter. Now, playing around this center stage, fishing for the kill option right here. They really want this forward tilt instead. Gonna get down throw, but not quite into the up air.
I think he misspaced that up smash. I think he wanted to turn that one around, but oh, that counter was huge.
Yeah, finally they get the up smash, one of the fastest options, but it's still not going to kill quite yet. Very nice tools overall though, send them straight into the blast zone. Starukami with the 2-stock, extending the lead of the University of South Alabama. But definitely not unwinnable for the side of Seton Hall.
Now, the interesting part about this Ditto in particular is that it feels, it's silly to say, but it feels very even. And so if Seton Hall, even if they lose this one, if they can mitigate the amount of points earned, it's still within arm's reach. But again, they have to be able to get some points on the board to give themselves a shot here. And I think that counter really was, I hate to say it, but the story of that match, because it's a call out, right? It's saying, okay, you are going to be, I know I'm vulnerable, and I know this is what my character does well, so I'm going to counter right here. And it just flips the entire scenario. It's almost like hitting the reset button.
You were talking about tomahawks as a way to make both players think a little bit more. Well, that's exactly what the counter was doing, because as you saw from the opening of that set, both very swingy players, wanting a constant wall out around them, a force field of swords, but it makes you think twice about throwing that out once the counter is a factor that you have to seriously consider with every swing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious to see the other key that I thought was interesting about that matchup is that Lucina actually edge guards Lucina pretty well, especially if they can catch a jump. That up B does not go very far in terms of horizontally, I should say. So if you can catch Lucina's jump, it's so much off the board for your opponent. So that's something to look forward to getting into game number 2 here.
Yeah, it certainly is. As like we said, we did know that Blobman has a ton of other characters, but I don't know if you really need to switch off of the Ditto. I don't think it would hurt. Definitely. But the Ditto can be awkward. It's a lot of people's least practiced matchup. So we'll see how they fare going into this next match, not switching off at all.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how they do here. Battlefield, I feel like this is going to be a lot more interesting because now you got those platforms to possibly extend your combos or extend your openings a little bit farther. But as you can see, not quite able to do so on the first few attempts.
Yeah, Starukami, nice opening. I'm loving their use of the up tilt, honestly. Been very nice for them, as fishing for that side B isn't going to net you much. Back air there, Mike. Starukami playing under this platform is going to get punished for it. Some nice spacing on the aerials, but no punish on the counter once again.
Yeah, and I also agree with the use of those up tilts. It's so good because Lucina's a character. I mean, both of these characters want to, land on you with some sort of aerial. So using that up. Okay, reading the air dodge in, and so Blobman off the early stock. But I was gonna say because both players playing so aggressive, that up tilt kind of acts as an anti-air, and that's an unfortunate early second stock off the board for Starukami.
I'm not even sure what was going on there, but either way, now Starukami, based on how they were trading last game, this isn't impossible, as Starukami gets a very clean early lead, has them off stage, but these aggressive edge guards are what got them gimped before.
Gotta play so carefully, and you can tell Starukami, he wants to find that jump, because again, once that jump is off the table for Lucina, the game gets a lot simpler to edge guard. Look at how much damage he's done to stock. That's stock number 2 off the board. It's back to practically even.
Yeah, Starukami running a charity, honestly, as now, like you said, practically even, and that up B is an opportunity to punish with just a forward tilt. Nothing major. Fishing for these down airs, but Nair is going to give them stage control instead. Very nice. Trying to find their way in, but that's a bit of mental damage, and tech rolling towards that side of the stage. That's going to hurt. The up B is a nice off-ledge option. Really good burst. Probably it is Lucina's fastest option. But is it enough right now?
Ooh, I like the idea. That counter catching the recovery, but it's just not enough, too far away and able to snap to ledge.
Ooh, now, Blobman sent off. We're in a scramble situation. And going for the up B again, it goes unpunished. Blobman trying to land. It's the counter. Charged forward smash. They want it so bad, but catches the dash away, and it's an unceremonious way to send us to a game 3 with Blobman tying it up. 1-1.
Dangerous game there for sure, and Blobman able to clutch it out in that scramble scenario, but it felt very panicky at the end, right? Both players really wanting it, just kind of swinging for the fences, and Blobman hit the ball first.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing you got to wonder about, like, what would have been like if you didn't SD? What would have been like if you didn't get gimped like that? it's something that's going to eat away at you, and you can't let it. You've got to go in clean to the final game, because if you keep lingering on those thoughts on what could have been instead of what is, you're never going to make the comeback.
Yeah. And you saw Starukami, he was on the comeback, right? That second stock off the board completely for the side of Blobman. Just honestly, I think he ate about what, 90 to 100+% and then lost his stock for it. It was wild the amount of times that Starukami could keep Blobman to the corner here. And so if you're Blobman, you've got to find a cleaner way back to stage, because you cannot spend the game playing from the corner.
Yes, especially not on PS2, where your opponent in the corner will have the platform at their disposal. That's going to be even tougher, as Blobman immediately gets the lead, holding center stage, but Starukami, with the little bait right there, is able to get through.
A little bit of an early percent lead for Blobman, but quickly mitigated. Starukami doing a great job of connecting a few aerials together, reading the movement of Blobman.
Nice forward tilt out of shield right there. Gets you a bit of stage control, and now you're at ledge. Starukami is not going to fall into that. I thought for sure it was just going to get let rip. Ganondorf style, send you straight off the side, but they're going to survive for now. As they get the nair out of shield, get the punish. High recovery right there. Avoiding the 2-frame, but you're still going to get in a pretty precarious situation. Blobman in particular, ooh, is going to be sent up the side of the stage. Starukami managed to claw their way back into that stock.
Yeah, Blobman has had a couple panicky rolls, including that one. Starukami nearly calling it out with that neutral B. And that's something Blobman's really got to work on, because, as you can tell, Starukami's starting to catch on.
Gonna be caught right there and then. But thanks to that up tilt, they had the opportunity to juggle. They're just eating more percent at this point, though. Starukami has really cleaned up their game plan, and Blobman can't really seem to find the way to kill.
Yeah, it's a struggle right now, and Blobman kind of swinging for the fences, but that one will connect. Big down smash to get them back to even stock count, and now a little bit of work. That's okay. That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, I am definitely with you right there. As now, that's a very big neutral B right there. It's not going to pay off for anything, but it's a bit of disrespect regardless. Blobman, not going to be caught by that. But under the platform is where Blobman reigns supreme now. Up a stock, a chance to get some more points on the board for Seton Hall.
That's huge, because now you've got Starukami on his last stock, and Blobman, if he can get anything on the board here, it just makes the comeback so much more difficult for the side of Starukami.
But you do have to keep in mind, Starukami did seem to be the kind of player to play good when they want to, as when they needed to get a stock off, they did. And a little more consistent with the kills as well, as they get that up tilt. Finishes them off. Now, right here and now. Gonna get the tech chase on the platform? No! Gonna drop it. A little bit of spaghetti coming in the last part.
I actually like the jabs that Blobman was doing earlier. Another kind of get-off-me tool, because it comes out so quickly. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but at least relieves some pressure. But right now, a lot of pressure, as Blobman actually found that down air, but here's a big forward smash.
Early up B, though, from Blobman is going to get them back on stage. Both these characters kind of at kill percents right now, as that neutral B going to send Starukami off, no jump, but they're able to land on the platform safe and sound. The down tilt popping you up, but down there reversal. Not looking to challenge that whatsoever.
Good forward air. Oh, that's a dangerous counter. That nair should do it. Starukami wraps it up on the last stock and gives a huge lead now to Southern Alabama.
Yeah, and given that that was game 4, I think it's a winning lead. It would be impossible for Seton Hall to make the comeback right here. And even though they played tremendously throughout all that, coming so close, University of South Alabama is definitely going to be coming out ahead in the end. I really do feel like that Ditto was a perfect encapsulation. A lot of adaptation, reverse adaptation, but ultimately Seton Hall fell into their old habits, sticking to that counter a little too much, and University of South Alabama was, well, eager to capitalize, getting the jump right at the end there.
It really says something when you have the same characters like that and you can just kind of take over a stock, right? Starukami, think back to that second game where he brought it all back. And I think that kind of put a little bit of fear into the boots of Blobman towards the end. Even though he had the lead, you could tell he was playing with some confidence. I think he wanted the kill too badly, right? He goes for that counter late in the game, and that ends up pushing him to the corner because of the opening it allows for. And so that's all Starukami needed. He was just very clean when he needed to be. So good stuff to Southern Alabama to wrap that one up, but we still got one more set to play out here.
Yeah, we got G-Man coming in here. Played the Bowser last week. Going up against, I believe,